Tonight, have you ever been caught speeding and you got a ticket? Well, a new poll finds that nearly 1 in 5 drivers in Arizona say they would try and bribe the officer to get out of the ticket if they could get away with it.
But as Team 12's Rachel Cole shows us, that will likely only complicate the circumstances.
A lead foot will likely lead to a fine, and trying to bribe your way out of it with a couple of bucks will put you on the fast track to even more trouble.
No, I'm not surprised at all about that.
Don't do it, it's not worth it. I mean, morally it's wrong, but
I think that's ridiculous.
Right or wrong, a new poll finds that 16% of drivers in Arizona say they would bribe an officer to avoid a ticket if they could do so without getting in trouble. While Arizona drivers are below the national average of 19%, some still say shelling out could be worthwhile.
I definitely would if I had the money. 100%.
I mean, if you're bribing them for less than the ticket's gonna be, I mean, you win some, you lose some.
A Volkswagen dealership in Florida commissioned the study, which includes more than 3,000 drivers. It finds drivers would reach for about $50 to bribe a cop in order to keep their driving record clean. But what about your conscience?
My first time getting pulled over, and I thought he was gonna let me off with a warning, but he gave me a ticket, which was fine. I took traffic school. I mean, I learned my lesson, but I never tried to bribe him.
Sergeant Ann Justice with Phoenix Police says pump the brakes before trying to bribe an officer.
You're not always going to get a ticket just because you're stopped. So our advice, if you're thinking of trying to offer something to an officer, don't do it. Our officers aren't going to accept it.
Plus, the penalties for both parties involved at that point are nothing to mess with.
It's a class 4 felony, so it's certainly not worth it. Internally, we're not going to keep officers on this job that accept bribes either. So there would be an internal and a criminal investigation.
I think people should take responsibility for what they do, but that's just me.
Okay.
I don't know why they think it works.
If you're thinking of bribing an officer, don't do it.
Bottom line, officers say obey the speed limit, plan ahead, keep the penalty in mind, and if you just can't do any of those things, consider using cruise control. Rachel Cole, 12 News.
All right, Rachel, thanks.